Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Drew, and I want to welcome you to Learn How to See Better. It's the only podcast that'll improve your vision the longer you listen. Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Drew, and I want to welcome you to Learn How to See Better. In today's episode, what I want to talk about is a funny experience I just had, actually, because I just got out of the dentist chair, getting my chompers all cleaned and shined up bright, and feeling good about that. And the funny thing about it was I had this thing scheduled, and it's beautiful to see how technology can serve us, because I was getting all kind of automated notifications and reminders and, text messages to confirm my appointment, which I actually thought was pretty great and hands off for me to keep that accountability going to approve and attend that meeting. But the funny thing about it is, simple things like going to the dentist or going, for any kind of health-based checkup is something that we need to do. We have to do it, right? But the fact of the matter is we know the whole time that we need to do it, that we know that it's one of those things that's kind of imperative, right? Our health, that we have to do some level of taking care of it because it doesn't take care of itself. But why I found this part of my day interesting was because I was sitting here, knowing I had this appointment today, but the closer the meeting time, or the closer the appointment time came, the more I felt that I was just, I was in the groove of some of the things I was tackling for the day, just being productive in business. But at the same time, I was finding myself irritated and resentful of the fact that I'd scheduled this meeting right in the middle of my day, right? So I was thinking about, gosh, I didn't want to have to stop what I was doing to go to the dentist, because at that point, in the afternoon, it's like, okay, that's going to kind of get in the middle of things. The next thing you know, the day's over, right? And so I chuckled about it because I knew all these things, going into the meeting, and it made me think about the fact that once the thought crossed my mind, why don't you just reschedule this thing? You don't have time for this right now because we're always too busy, right? And I thought, how busy can we be that we are too busy to take care of ourselves? How does that work, right? If you don't take care of you break down. You might have to hit the sidelines for a little bit and, be put on IR potentially. And what's interesting about that is I know that's all too common in, just the way things go today. The way things go these days, people are so busy, they don't have time to go see a doctor. They don't have time to see the dentist, the eye doctor. They don't have time to go to the gym. They don't have time to go to the grocery store instead of the drive-thru. They don't have time, right? They don't have time to answer their phone. They don't have time to answer their text messages, right? Everything is so fast-paced these days that people's attention spans are drastically shortened. And for that reason, if we're struggling to pay attention to things, we may find ourselves putting our very health and the status of our health in that category of something that we're just too busy to do and don't have time for. And that was the piece that I remember, even when I was in corporate, one of the first, very successful people I remember meeting, here locally that was, doing great things. And this was a pretty impressive female that just had it all going on. But yet I noticed there were some health challenges going on in this person's life. And they had actually made the comment as though the appearance of this health challenge was noticeable. And so they kind of headed it off the path, said, I've just been too busy to see the doctor. And I was thinking, man, that's interesting for, as successful as you are. I would think you could maybe, have the right support staff to help you get that time carved out. But that scenario is all too common, right? As we climb the ladder to success, we're impatient with reaching the destination, and we find ourselves not wanting to do anything to take our foot off the gas. And the more interesting thing about that is what I found in my own experience is that it can actually be taking our foot off of the gas for a moment that allows us to really assess the landscape, that allows us to take a moment to really see kind of how the vehicle's performing, and to see how we're going to be able to plot reaching that next destination, that next mountaintop peak even faster. Because if we don't slow down to assess what we're truly capable of, and if we have the right setup, then we may find ourselves in a position where you're maxed out, where you're not able to take on more because you don't really have the right infrastructure. You don't have the right personnel. You don't have the right systems in place to be able to go to the next level, right? And so, if you've ever found yourself almost too busy to stop for gas, you got to pause and think about how silly that even sounds, right? Have you ever seen, some of the kids' movies like Cars or some of these other ones where, you go Speed Racer, such an ambitious, hero as the protagonist in the story might be in a situation where their success is compromised because they're too busy to hit a pit stop, right? Those tires are about to blow out. You're about to run out of gas, but you're trying so hard to get that first place pole position that you won't pull over, that you won't take the pedal off the metal, that you won't just take those moments to assess if you're even moving at the right pace and the right tempo. Because you can only go redline with the RPMs for so long before you burn your engine out. So there are instances where even when there's a sprint, it's for a fixed duration of time. You have to be able to pace yourself. You have to be able to understand what the landscape is of the journey that you're on. Okay, you might have thought it was going to be a flat sprint, but it turned out to be quite the hike. So before you try and apply that sprint up the mountain, you might need to recalibrate potentially. And that's one of the big things that I've learned that was just a reminder from today when I thought, man, I don't have time to go to the dentist today. I'm in the middle of getting stuff done, right? Well, don't fall into that trap of being too busy to stop for gas because, where does that leave you, right? If you're in such a rush, you're on the side of the road because you're too busy to stop for gas. You're too busy to take care of yourself. You're too busy to take a walk around the block, right? Or to do something positive for yourself. So that's just something that I wanted to call out and mention briefly for today, as I'm just going through an experience that was that friendly reminder that I hope to be able to add value to someone else's world and pass that message through, because the fact of the matter is that there can be a heavy penalty and a heavy price to pay for those of us that are too busy to stop. No matter how fulfilled you are in reaching your peak potential, what good does it do if you have to check out early? What good does it do if you've sacrificed so much in your ascension to greatness that your health is the unfortunate one that comes up short, the unfortunate component of your life that gets neglected, that puts you in compromising positions to be able to even enjoy the success that you work so hard to attain, achieve, and reach? So without seeming too preachy, so to speak, I thought I would just lay down that gem for people to pick up. It's just a gentle reminder, right? It's the fourth quarter of the year. Everyone's pushing hard to close things out strong. We all have goals and ambitions that we set at the start of the year that we ought to be tracking towards. So salute to everyone that is still pushing hard. At the same time, we need to be smart enough to not be the racer that was, racing for that number one pole position, but was too busy to hit the pit stop, get some fresh tires, thrown on there, to get that quick engine tune-up, to get that quick extra pint or two of gas to keep on going. Don't be that one to pull up lame because you wouldn't respect the rules of the game. So with that, those were the nuggets that I thought would be useful for everyone to hear at this time of the day, as I had to kind of check myself before I wrecked myself and realized that there is, one of the most important parts of healthcare is self-care. So be sure to invest that time and do something for yourself today. Do something for yourself this week. Make time, schedule time to take care of yourself so that you can continue to push on at the levels that you know that you're capable of, and help you to reach that peak and optimal performance. Because that's what we're really all in it to do anyway, is just be our best version of us. So don't be too busy to get the right amount of sleep, to get the right fuel, to get the right tune-ups that you need from the right specialists if needed. So for what it's worth, that ought to be something to help get everyone's day going pretty good. And at least, if nothing else, thinking about what things we might be able to do differently to help optimize our own setup as we look to reach our own pinnacle. So until next time, can't wait to have you guys tune in to learn how to see better. This is your host, Drew Davis. I want to thank you for joining me today. Have a good one.